my name is Kyle. I'm the Associate Youth Minister at Transparent Youth at All Saints Episcopal Church. Now today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about love. Now when I say the word love, I know some of you are getting a little nervous here. Perhaps some of you guys, you're thinking back to the days in your geography class where there's that cute girl in front of you and you want to ask her maybe to the spring formal dance. Who knows? Some of you girls, when I say love, maybe you think little different path. Maybe you think about a certain band or something, maybe the Jonas Brothers, I don't know. But you can all breathe a sigh of relief because that's not the kind of love that we're talking about today. We're going to talk more about getting along with each other, regardless if you want to be in a relationship with somebody or not. This love is more unconditional, meaning that you can't base your actions towards others on what they've done to you. Sometimes it means tolerating those people that you have a lot of trouble getting along with. Now, we're going to be talking about love, and we're going to be looking at Romans 12, which we talked a little bit last week. We talked about that and about living sacrifices and using your gifts for others. Well, later in the chapter, Paul talks about love. So let's look at Romans 12 here, verses 9 through 21. It says, "Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with God's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everybody. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Do not take revenge, my friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord. On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." Now I want to pick this apart a little bit, but I'm only going to look at specific verses because I'm kind of stretched for time here. We start off with love must be sincere. Now what does sincere mean? Sincere means that love must be genuine, part of what we're talking about with transparency. It must be sincere, it must be truthful, it must be honest. You can't have fake love. You have to learn how to really love one another. And you can do that by, in verse 10 it says, honor one another above yourselves. That means, treating others better than you would actually treat yourself. Okay, now let's skip to verse 13. It says, share with God's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Share with God's people who are in need. That's pretty self-explanatory. There are others who are less fortunate than us. Some of your friends, they might have needs, not necessarily monetary. They might not necessarily, it's not that they're hungry or something. Maybe they just need someone to talk to. So you can share with those people. Verses 14 through 16 talks a little bit more about that, about practicing hospitality. When it says, bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Now this one's kind of a tough one at school because a lot of times you'll see that person sitting off at that table by themselves, and they're kind of shunned upon. People kind of look down on them. But this is calling you guys directly to be a witness to them, to minister to them, to go and talk to them. It's not even saying, you should have to immediately talk to them about Jesus. You can be Jesus to them with your actions. You can just go and talk with them. Now, verse 17, in regards to love, it talks a little bit about revenge. A lot of times we want to fight back at somebody when they say something to us or snap back, say something mean back to them. But this is calling us not to do that. It says in verse 18, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. This is a lot easier said than done, but it's true. And verse 19 talks more about revenge. And then lastly, we're told to go the extra mile, basically, to take care of those who we're not necessarily fond of, who might be considered our enemies. It says if he's hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. Now, this is completely radical, because generally we think of the meanest things that we can do to our enemies, but if we want to truly love people, and if we want people to love us, this is the stuff that we're going to have to start with. This is the stuff we're going to have to do. Now, this summer, myself, I've had to work on really loving some people, and when I reflect on this passage and look back on it. I've tried some methods in the past, and one of them, the easiest thing for me to do was to actually avoid people that I had trouble loving, but unfortunately this was also the least effective. When you put something off like that, you're really prolonging actually loving them. Now, hypothetically, say someone, they struggle with swearing. So to stop the problem, they put tape over their mouths. Yeah, they're going to stop swearing for a little bit, but the motive is still there. What's inside that's causing them to swear is still there. And that's the same thing with love. Okay, if you're struggling to get along with somebody, how about the two of you actually sit down and settle matters? Now, this takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of humility, but that's what this passage talks about. There's a great amount of sacrificing certain feelings and behaviors to really love people, and that's what we're called to do. Now, in closing, Jesus, he really emphasized the need and the importance of loving others in John 13. He starts the chapter off by washing his disciples' feet, and he knows that Judas is going to betray him, but he does it anyway. And then he talks about how he's going to be leaving his disciples soon. He knows the death that he's going to die. But the words that really sticks out are the words that he leaves to them in verses 34 through 35, where he says, a new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. So not only, thinking about this, not only when you're loving other people, not only are you bettering yourself, but you're living out the words and the commands of Christ as well. And I can't think of any better way to show others what I believe than by my actual actions. Not just what I say, but my actions. You've heard the phrase, you're basically walking the talk. And that is why we should love others unconditionally.